I come from a poor background, but I made up for it by being hardworking by nature, so I would work multiple part-time jobs that were quite a distance from where I was staying. Couple of days later, I was looking through the newspaper and noticed that there was an old apartment up for rent at a really cheap price. It also happens that it was conveniently near the places I work at. In my head I knew this was too good to be true, but beggars can't be choosers, and it is just what I needed. Therefore I hurried to the location and rented the place before anyone could. The landlord told me very clearly that no matter what, I must never open this particular storeroom door even if I were to hear loud weird noises from it. For an entire week, I was terrified of weird noises or weird things that happen every single night. First night, I heard screeching coming from behind the storeroom door. It was not extremely loud and unbearable, so I left the noise alone and did not bother about it. Second night, I still hear the screeching, but it has gotten significantly louder. I was unable to sleep that night, semi-regretting hopping on that cheap deal with the landlord. I prayed the next night would be better. Third night, I was pleasantly surprised how quiet it had been. But at exactly 3 a.m. in the morning my peaceful sleep was interrupted by my blanket lifting up and being pulled towards the storeroom, hooking onto the doorknob. It felt like there was something that wanted me to open the storeroom. Fourth night, this was the night it sent shivers down my spine. A sudden icy cold wind blew into my room. I woke up and immediately attempted to shut the windows, thinking that I might have forgotten to do so before I went to bed. Shockingly enough, all the windows were closed shut. But the wind was still blowing in my apartment. I followed the bone-chilling draft back to the source, that storeroom. The moment I had arrived at the storeroom, the cold air was filled back with warmth. As creeped out as I might have been, I chose to not think too much about it and went back to bed to sleep, being as exhausted as I was. Fifth night, something extremely peculiar happened. I know that I have never ever sleepwalked my entire life. I distinctly remember falling asleep on the bed, only to wake up on day 6 on the floor in front of the storeroom with my blanket in my left hand and my right hand reaching up to grasp the doorknob. Vaguely recalling what the landlord had said days ago, I left that door alone and went about my daily businesses. Sixth night, I thought this night was the worst by far. I was again unable to close my eyes and fall asleep thinking about all the weird things that have happened recently. That bone-chilling breeze is back. It's that storeroom again. I exclaimed internally, trying to fiddle around in the dark in search for my blanket and jacket, to no avail. That's when it hit me real bad. Both the blanket and jacket were at the doorknob of that storeroom. I rushed to the door and quickly grabbed everything off the doorknob, dashed straight to my bed, shut my eyes closed and hid my head and body underneath my blanket as if it could protect me. I prayed and constantly chanted random sutras. At this point, any god answering my pleas would be a blessing. Last night was the last straw, so I went ahead to buy a Bible and pick up talismans from the temples, thinking it would help me. It didn't. At exactly 3 a.m., an ear-piercing screech jolted me awake. My blood ran cold when I saw the Bible and talismans I bought had a knife stabbed right through the center, glued to the door of the storeroom like a decoration. Cold beads of sweat started trickling down my forehead when I heard extremely loud metallic thuds around me, as if multiple knives were being forcefully stabbed into the floor. I mustered up the courage to turn my head away from the storeroom, eyes tracing the perimeter around the bed to check if there were indeed knives dug into the wooden floorboard. A loud voice then spoke beside my ears, "Where are you looking at?" I jerked straight back up, staring in the direction of that storeroom, shivered in fear as I saw the knife on the storeroom door start to move, carving out the word "die." In a blink of an eye I had stood up, instantly got out of the room and never came back the moment I saw that word. A month later, I was watching the news on television. They were going on about how the police had found a dead body in a fridge, hidden away in the storeroom. The body had been stabbed multiple times and the face disfigured beyond recognition. The police arrested the man they deemed responsible for the crime and showed the man's face. It was the landlord. I thought I finally solved the jigsaw puzzle, thinking that the victim simply wanted to be found, but I was proven dead wrong. Within a few days the policeman that found the dead body went missing. Perhaps they were dragged into that storeroom just like the original victim was.